Alright, we're at the beginning of turn 2. The Palmyrans have started to outflank the Sassanids by moving their light skirmishers around the flank of the Sassanid cavalry formation and unmasking their own archers. They've caused quite heavy casualties, and we might see that light infantry formation break. We haven't done its break test. I'll do that in a second. Otherwise, the majority of the Roman heavy infantry has started to reposture itself to see off the attack by the Sassanid heavy cavalry. And the Roman cataphracts are moving up towards the front, perhaps to plug the gap in the line as the Roman legions continue to advance towards their objective. But there is a bit of a gap opening up here with just 2 units of light cavalry in it, facing off against the Sassanid heavy cavalry assault. Heavy cavalry have started to move forward. They were screened and delayed because they moved first by their own Lysort archers. They've started peeling away to their left, peppering the Roman skirmish line as they move left, and the Sassanid heavy cavalry get ready to attack, while over on this flank the Sassanids stay in their defensive posture, trying to encourage the Roman army to split itself in two and be bitten off. And chewed up and spat out, eh Charlie? We'll see how turn 2 goes. Right, we're just at the start of turn 3 and quite a lot of action. On this flank the Saravan have charged in. The first lot of cataphracti couldn't charge down the Parthian infantry and stalled on the hill. The general's unit has charged into that unit of auxiliaries and pushed them back, caused 2 casualties but didn't break them. The third unit of Saravan was just out of range in its charge and didn't charge home. In the centre, 2 units of cataphracti countercharged the Roman medium cavalry, which charged them. Marginal victories for the Persians in both combats, pushed the Romans back, but again not broken them. So we move around to the end of the Roman line. The Roman light cavalry have withdrawn from the advancing cataphracts. There's not much facing them off on this flank, and they've caused some casualties and caused some of the Parthian horse archers to pull away. In the centre, the Roman line has stalled or stopped. Clubmen have got disordered from the concentrated artillery fire from the Parthian archers on their flank, and at the moment they're just firing at the elephant lines, and the Persians remain content to hold their defensive line in front of the town, relying on their heavy cavalry to break through. In the centre, the Parthian cavalry division is now nearly at the end of its transition of the Roman line and will come in probably to plug this gap. See how that plays out in turn 3. Right, we're at the beginning of turn 4. It's proved quite eventful. More Sassanid units have gone into the attack. The second unit of cataphracti on the right flank has charged into the Palmyran spearmen, who held them off thanks to their rear and flank support, although the Sassanids won hand-to-hand combat. And similarly here, the Saravan elite Sassanid cavalry, again held up by the auxilia here, again thanks to their unengaged flank and rear support, giving them the bonus. The third unit of Saravan failed to charge home, otherwise they could have had a ripple effect on the combat across the board. Over on the left-hand flank of the cataphracti assault, things went a bit better. This unit of cataphracti have broken the Roman medium cavalry, who've fled back through their own cataphracts, disordering themselves and their cataphracts, but again they weren't shaken, so just withdrawn. And on this flank, the third combat, or final combat, also remains in stalemate. As we move across the board, the Roman line has resumed its advance. It's now closing on the elephants. And as you look at what's going on here, 2 units of legionaries supported by archers, light legionaries and clubmen continue to advance to the line of elephants, and there now are only 3, so Roman archery has knocked out the first of those elephants. They might have to take a more active posture now. And a continuing harassment by the Parthian light archers continues. They've now taken quite a lot of casualties though, so that division's nearly broken, so we might see them disappearing in the next turn or two. So anyway, the battle's now quite confused. Still the Romans seeking to push their cataphracts through the gap between their two formations, and the Sassanids looking to complete the breakthrough against the core of the Roman force. Alright, on with turn 4. Right, we're at the beginning of turn 5. We have James Bond very loud on in the background. What we've got going on here is the Palmyran division is now definitely into its flanking move, having broken the flanking unit of Sassanids. It's now started to swing round. In the right hand element of the Sassanid attack, they are pushing back these two auxiliary cohorts, but still haven't broken them. And for about the 4th turn in a row, this unit of Saravan cavalry have failed to charge the Roman legions opposite it. So we move along the line. The Saravans who are breaking through have now charged the Roman cataphracts, which are in action for the first time this game. So they went into countercharge. This melee remains locked up, and there's not much left in the gap as we move across. We've now got assaults going on this flank, as the Roman legion is now starting to assault the defensive lines of the city, and has sort of fallen back to try and pincushion the two remaining elephants, staying wary of combat. In last turn they went into combat and pushed one elephant back, and the other one became a pincushion bouncing ball and was pinging its way backwards and forwards between the Sassanid and Roman lines as it failed to break through and went into uncontrolled flight. Alright, let's give you a look of what the battlefield looks like. Pretty compressed now, as the Roman lines has been pushed in, but there's still a lot to do for Sassanids to break through to the camel train or defeat the Roman army. Right, on we go with turn 5. The beginning of turn 7, and we'll just do a recap, or it might be turn 6, we've slightly lost track, but we have declared a victory for the Romans, and we'll just do a panning shot, show you what's going on. And actually the key action has finally happened out on this flank, where the forward thrusting Roman legionary units have indeed reached the town, and then you have skirmishers in front of them. So next turn they'll simply be able to plough into the town and displace the skirmishers. That front Roman legionary unit broke 2 units of mixed combined Persian levy. The archery fire caused a casualty too. Charlie used his general to recover the casualties, and then they convincingly run the combat with a combination of peeler fire and then vicious hand-to-hand fighting, and broke both those units. As a result, this division is now at 50% strength, and these 2 units will also have to retire. So the whole of the defence of the town has fallen. So we move across to the elephants. They should have moved forward in the movement phase, but they didn't pull their order chit out in time, and the turn ended. They were pincushioned by the Roman archers. Unfortunately for Charlie, the second elephant there didn't quite succumb, but it's on 3 wounds now. It'll only take 1 more wound from shooting and it'll be gone. And when we move across to the centre, things are again looking pretty rosy for the Romans. Stalemate here, the cataphracts now they're locked in combat and not having their charge bonus, not really making progress against the Roman cavalry. Second unit of cataphracts charged Charlie's cataphracts, but with the supports they've got, were unable to break them and just had to retire. They're now on 3 casualties out of 4. In the centre, again a continued story of being unable to charge the Roman line. And over here, where the cataphracts did charge in and looked in pretty good shape, the sheer mass of Roman troops they were trying to fight their way through proved intractable, and they're now at break point. So although we have 1 command token left for our general here, who could take some casualties off next turn, looks like the Romans aren't going to make the breakthrough they intended, and they're just about to be completely flanked by the Palmyran troops. So, good victory for the Romans. We didn't bother pointing this game, we just got out a whole bunch of figures, and it's been a really good fun game, really spread out over the table, lots of different combats going on, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Did you, Charlie?
Yeah.
Yeah, good game. So a bit of a change from Napoleonics. I promise we'll be back to Napoleonics soon. But perhaps you could let us know in the comments whether you'd like to see a bit more Ancients. We have the opportunity to do Palmyrans versus Sassanids, Palmyrans against Romans, Romans against Picts. So there's quite a lot of variety here. And one day we might even get to some English Civil War. Alright, thanks very much. Hope you enjoyed it.